Dan Scavino released Nessun Dorma once again, and it always ends up matching all that is going on around us. What do I mean? The timestamp, the length of the video, and more. And it will make the hairs on your head stand up when we get to that. Castle Lock, Victory, false flags are planned, and more. We are on the edge of our seat, waiting to see what will occur over the weekend as President Trump appears to be heading out to the Middle East. Tensions will definitely be high. We'll stay in prayer as we watch all this play out. We've got this to cover: Chicago, Letitia James, the mainstream media lies, and so much more. Let's go.
Together, Mr. President. But frankly, I don't know of any American president in the modern era that could have made this possible because of the actions you have taken unrelated to this and because of who you are and what you've done and how you're viewed. And this weekend, because of that, at some point very soon, we are going to see 20 living human beings emerge from the darkness into the light for the first time in 2 years. And that is because not only were you used the credibility and the power and the prestige of this office and the relationships you created, and you committed yourself to making it happen. And I think it will go down as a historic moment in the history of our country, and something our country should be very proud of, that we have a president that's committed to not just peace, but to the human aspect of reuniting these families. My last point on this is just a couple days ago, Secretary Lutnick hosted us all, many of us, at the Kennedy Center. And we have these families, we've interacted with them for so many years, for 2 years now. And the stories are heartbreaking, both whose families are alive and those who are deceased as well, who want their relatives back so that they can complete the process of grieving. And we had all hoped that perhaps that was the day that we would have an announcement for them on the anniversary of the 7th. But I know you were able to speak to some of those families last night. And I just hope the whole nation understands how incredibly proud they should be of their president and of their country for the role that they've played. And I don't want to let this moment pass, Mr. President, without also noting the incredible work of Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. They're an incredible team working together, facing some substantial impediments to even being there this weekend and doing it. Let me just leave it at that. And they've done a great job on your behalf, Mr. President. They deserve a tremendous amount of credit. But thank you for what you've done for the world.
Thank you very much, Rose. I appreciate it. I think because we have a very busy day with all that's gone on, what we'll do is maybe just a few of you raise your hand if you'd like to say something.
Few impediments, said Rubio. And we'll just leave it at that, he said. Wonder what they had to deal with. The ceasefire is now in effect. The next steps, the IDF, Israeli Defense Force, to withdraw to new lines inside Gaza Strip. 72-hour window for hostage release will start ticking down. A swap, all Israeli hostages for roughly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. The government has now approved the plan for the release of all hostages, the living and the fallen, from Israel's Prime Minister _Heb on X. Jerusalem Post actually said he's bringing them home and has a President Trump on the cover with the faces of all of the hostages, dead and alive. And then you had children, the ones that live in fear every single day from the bombing, stating this: "We are happy for the ceasefire. I was overjoyed. We're happy that the war ended and everything is fine. I no longer have to worry. We can go out without fear. We're still alive. Oh Lord, may we go back to our homes, and may He safeguard our friends so we can go out with our friends and have fun in our homes. Oh Lord, bring back my uncle who's being treated in Egypt. We are not afraid. We will remain here and we will go back to school. Bye." You see the little faces? Wondering what's going on, why bombings happening all around them day in and day out. You see the smiles? That's what we're talking about. And you think that they'll get any credit from the Democrats, from Obama? No, Obama sent out a letter saying it's great that there's going to be peace, but he didn't bring up President Trump's name at all.
Of course, we know that President Trump has brokered a deal to ensure a ceasefire and release of hostages from Hamas to Israel. We know that this has happened. But did you get a chance to check out Barack Obama's statement? Now, there was nothing inherently wrong with the statement, but there is something I noticed. But let me read it to you first, and then I'll come back with my commentary. After 2 years of unimaginable loss and suffering for Israeli families and the people of Gaza, we should all be encouraged and relieved that an end to the conflict is within sight, that those hostages still being held will be reunited with their families, and that vital aid can start reaching those inside Gaza whose lives have been shattered. More than that, though, it now falls on Israelis and Palestinians, with the support of the U.S. and the entire world community, to begin the hardest task of rebuilding Gaza, and to commit to a process that, by recognizing the common humanity and basic rights of both peoples, can achieve a lasting peace. End of statement. Did you notice something there or not notice something there? While I appreciate him for not creating drama around this topic, which a lot of the Democrats love to do, I find it interesting that it's so difficult for them to, at the same time, acknowledge President Trump for his work in that, because he is who has brokered that deal. I find it interesting that it's so difficult to give credit where credit is due, because we're so busy pushing this narrative of he's horrible, he's awful. And what happened if you actually say he did something great? I found that interesting. Did you notice it?
Did you notice that? Many have noticed that. And we have to ensure that we understand we have the ability to take our camera, turn on the video, hit record, and get our point of view out there. That's why it's great to have freedom of speech. Fox News said that U.S. troops were headed to Israel to support the historic peace deal. Caroline Leavitt had to go in and say this is not true and taken out of context. Up to 200 U.S. personnel who are already stationed at CENTCOM will be tasked with monitoring the peace agreement in Israel, and they will work with other international forces on the ground. I'm glad they cleared that one up right away. And then we hear about this.
Again, because we have a lot of things to do, including I won't be spending that much time here because I'll be leaving fairly soon for the Middle East. And I'm very honored to be involved with that, I'll tell you. It's a great thing for our country. People are so happy about it. I've never experienced anything quite like it. I've never seen such universal praise for being able to do something. No, it's something that nobody thought was possible, and we're going to end up having peace in the Middle East. Who would have thought?
POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad, specific locations classified. This is from November 1st, 2017 on the Q board. While these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment, it's time to take back our country. and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity, and return power to the people. Putin decided to chime in on all of this. The situation in the Middle East, he said. Then on the background, humanitarian tragedy and catastrophe in Gaza. There's an active search for options to end the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. President Trump put forward a famous initiative. And how did he do? Excuse me. And how did you see? Russia supported them almost immediately. We see what is happening now here, achieved, according to information from the media, final decision. We really hope so, that these initiatives of the President of the United States will actually be implemented in practice. This initiative, from the very beginning, was generally positively received from Arab and the Islamic world in general. Main two, I repeat again, it will all be realized. I emphasize Russia has always proceeded and proceeds from that, how to solve the Middle East problem. I want to make sure that it's interesting that he gets credit from, supposedly it's supposed to be the enemy, right, Russia, but he gives credit to President Trump. But the guy who actually used to be the president won't give credit to President Trump. Just kind of interesting how that all works, huh? Folks, I'm feeling so much better now that I've visited Chad and Katie Brewer, and they gave me their Fortify 365 NAD+, a coenzyme found in every cell of your body. I'm telling you, sharper, stronger, and more energized. It fuels my brain function. I can tell. It boosts the energy, supports metabolism, helps my cells repair and regenerate. And I was just overwhelmed when I took this stuff. As we age and we face stress and illness, or addiction, NAD drops those levels, leaving us tired and foggy. Well, glutathione is the body's master antioxidant, so it's combined NAD plus glutathione. It detoxifies the liver and as a result supports the immune system and reduces inflammation and oxidative stress. So together, NAD plus and glutathione are powerful anti-aging combo. You can actually get this in the description box below. Click on the link in the description box, fortify365.com/OC.
I know this, that nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months.
Now, you think that President Trump's bragging there, but he's not. He was asked about the Nobel Peace Prize. What do you think, President Trump? Do you think they're going to now give you the Nobel Peace Prize? And he's given them a rundown of what's happened.
And I've stopped 8 wars, so that's never happened before. But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives. And that's the thing that bothers me so much about the Russia-Ukraine. 7,000 people are dying a week. Young soldiers, they're almost all soldiers of Ukraine and Russia. So in theory, it doesn't affect us, no, but it's a terrible thing. And we'll get that solved too. But nobody has ever done 8 wars. Nobody's done 8 wars in 30 years, let alone 9 months.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. And so what do you think happens behind the scenes while all this is going on? What do you think the people are working on, the enemy, to try to put a stop to all of this? Awaken Outlaw had something to say, kind of revolved around all that we're going through. One thing I am prepared for is the likelihood that some players we think are bad are going to turn out to be good and vice versa. Truth is, if you believe, like I do, that there's a ton more going on behind the scenes that is available for public consumption, then you'd probably agree that this is likely the case. Who will end up where exactly remains to be seen, but if this isn't the greatest whodunit in history, I don't know what is. All that matters is that good triumphs over evil. That happens, and I'm good with however we get there. How about that? And so, playing out on the other scene where, the media has to have something to cover and talk about all the time. to make sure they don't have to bring up Israel all the time, right? They have to have something. Well, Tish James, just out of the blue, now has been indicted.
I understand we have some legal breaking news.
Yeah, we have just learned that New York Attorney General Letitia James, who obviously brought the charges and won against President Donald Trump, has just been indicted by the Department of Justice. This was a case that President Trump wanted to be brought. It's a mortgage fraud case, and it's also what led to the leaving of the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia.
See how they put it? Communist News Network. She brought a case and she won. Remember that? She won. She beat President Trump, but now President Trump wanted something back against her for and she called it the mortgage, not the mortgage. Remember Tish James put out in May 30th, 2024, no one is above the law. Boy, it's amazing how that always comes back to bite you. But listen to the Communist News Network continue to play backup for Letitia James.
Aside for a second, what Tish James, and again, we're still getting the details, but if it's related to this mortgage issue, I mean, this is something that everyone in America, or many people at least, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy a house in America, you deal with this, right? The federal government doesn't go after all of these people for doing this. Does that?
Yeah. So everyone commits mortgage fraud in America. Federal government, they don't go after all these people. It's just a normal thing. I mean, we all do it. Come on. Always running cover for Tish James. No one is above the law.
Forcing federal law enforcement agencies. This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding. All because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country.
Go after President Trump. Accuse him of everything that's wrong with you, of all the laws that you've broken. Just keep sending the accusations. You know, gold hit an all-time high. Silver hits an all-time high. Gas will drop below $2. Cuts to Democrat programs will actually be permanent per Trump. DC's safe again. Chicago's in the works. Portland in the works. New York and Minnesota, they're next. Peace in the Middle East, but nothing's happening. And then we got Letitia. It's almost like they're always now the enemy is on their heels. Used to be the other way around where they were constantly pushing us. Every day we woke up and we're trying to just survive. They're finally on their heels. And, you know, maybe President Trump will bring the Insurrection Act in.
President, can we talk about Portland for a second? Are you planning to invoke the Insurrection Act? And that would be, a very long-standing law that's been on the books.
Yeah, well, it's been invoked before, as you know. If you look at Chicago, Chicago's a great city where there's a lot of crime. And if the governor can't do the job, we'll do the job. It's all very simple. They probably had 50 murders in Chicago over the last 5, 6, 7 months. Many people were shot. And then the governor gets up and he says, well, we can handle it. They can't handle it. They don't know what they're doing. The mayor is grossly incompetent. He's at a 4% approval rating in Chicago. He's at a 4%, lowest approval rating, lower than even de Blasio had, which is hard to believe in New York. I thought de Blasio would always maintain that record, but the Chicago guy is even lower. So I think that we want safe cities. If you look at D.C., you would right now, Mark, you could go out, take your family out to dinner, you could walk right down the middle of the street. There is no crime in D.C. When I got here, this place was a raging hellhole where people would come from Canada, people would come from other places and end up getting shot. Nobody's being shot. The National Guard's been unbelievable. I mean, they are strong, tough guys. You know,
Strong, tough guys. And he's given, Finland just a little lesson in case they don't know what's really going on, but he knows what's going on. Having a little conversation about this crazy guy in Chicago, the mayor.
This is not about immigration. This is about a president who wants to enact authoritarianism in this country, where the rule of law doesn't apply to him and to one individual alone. And that's why I'm doing everything in my power to defend the people of this city and to lead a resistance that, quite frankly, is desperately needed to protect our democracy and our humanity.
The White House claims, this president claims that it's
right. Defend democracy. Protect our people. Yeah. Sure.
You're cooked. You are officially cooked. So, with this whole administration, what they're doing with these raids that we're seeing in Chicago, it turns out they found 83 unlicensed firearms, all right? Trump administration hasn't even been bragging about this. They found 83 unlicensed firearms.
Yep, that's right.
And on top of that, they found 7 missing children. The Trump administration hasn't bragged about none of it. That means he's right, y'all are wrong, and this takeover is about to go nationwide.
Oh, yeah. Catching on to how all this is playing out, aren't we? Libs of TikTok said they received from a follower in Chicago that's going all day on those Ring cameras that you guys have. Ring is complicit in doxing ICE agents' live locations. It's helping illegals evade arrest and puts agents in harm's way. That's right. Look at your screen there. Notification center, Ring. Neighborhood alert near Chicago. ICE parked at Jordan Elementary. Neighborhood alert near Chicago. Spotted by Ridge and Howard. Be careful out there. This is Ring. Possible ICE agent near Kilmer School. This is the same company where I believe the guy that created this whole thing, right? He's the one that went to Shark Tank and they didn't like his what he was doing. He ends up showing up later on as one of the sharks on Shark Tank. I watched him and he's making, he's looking at people, telling them if they're good or not and what have you. Well, I hope that he's aware of what's going on. I hope he's getting some phone calls and messages at Ring that let him know. Better put a stop to this. It's not good, not healthy for us at all. I've got something else to show you from Chicago where a local makes her voice known. Another one like we had yesterday, but a lot more are being very, very vocal about what's happening in their communities. We're at andweknow.com real quick. Wanted to make sure you guys know that when you go to andweknow.com, you can click here to book at Sea with LT. When you click on that pop-up, it'll take you to an amazing site where you have the At Sea with LT Freedom Voyage, March 15th through the 22nd, 2026. We've still got plenty of openings. We're going to have time to meet with my family, many of the podcasters that are going to be showing up, others that are out there on X that we've shared their information are going to be there. Tim Lovelace, the comedian, we're going to be laughing and crying. Todd Tillman with his voice. He won The Voice, guys. Did you know that? He's going to be there with us again. We're going to be going to Puerto Rico and heading all the way back. It is going to be wonderful. Day at Sea, Grand Turk, San Juan, Puerto Rico. I mean, guys, it is going to be absolutely phenomenal. St. Thomas, Half Moon Bay, Bahamas, and back to Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be beautiful. So I hope you guys check that out. And when you go to andweknow.com, it pops up. And the other thing that you'll notice is all of our videos and our AWK merch. When you click on that merch, folks, it's going to take you to an amazing site where you're going to see my book. You're going to see the sweatshirts and hoodies to get ready for the holiday season. You want to get your collectibles ready there, accessories, hats, tees, and tanks. And one of them that's been really just going off the shelf, folks are absolutely loving them, are these hoodies in different colors, different designs. You've got the Bible verse, and we know that all things work together for good. That's Romans 8:28 scripture on the back, and so many more. I hope that you guys would check that out. I just wanted to read something to you real quick because it's been pretty phenomenal, and I only do this every so often. But this one really, really touched my heart, and I want to get to it here if I can. Let's see, where is it at? I forgot where I put it. Oh, there it is. So this one here, New York Fire Department, firefighter, 33 years. Thank you so much for what you've done for your community, for all of us. Absolutely amazing. He says, hey, LT, you probably get lots of messages with this, but this is special because it's about God, my wife, family, and me. My wife had colon cancer, but God in all his glory saved her. Anyway, today she was getting discharged from Sloan here in New York City after they reattached some things it needed to. And as we waited for a discharge and lessons for me to do when I get her home, I got a phone call, which I took outside the room in the hallway. As I was on the phone, I look up and see a patient walk in the hallway getting some exercise. And I noticed he was smiling at me, so I smiled back. Then he pointed at my hoodie, gave me a thumbs up, and then a fist bump and kept walking. Came back for another trip, and I'm on the phone. Notice I'm wearing my Ock hoodie, and I said quickly, you listen? He said, of course, and he kept walking. And so amazing, guys. That's the stuff that happens. We get these reports all the time. And if you get an opportunity to go to andweknow.com, click on that and send us a picture of yourself wearing the gear. We'd love to get it. Here's more great pictures of patriots wearing our gear.
Antifa beats journalists. Antifa attacks our police stations. They attack our courthouses. They dox our law enforcement officers. No more. They are a terrorist group, and we are coming after them.
We are here at the White House today to unmask Antifa, to follow the money all the way to the top. If you want to get to the bottom of who is fomenting this chaos and violence in our country, you must follow the money.
I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years before I quit mainstream media, in part due to its refusal to acknowledge the dangers of Antifa and radical left-wing violence.
Part of the problem that we have is that a lot of people refuse to believe that Antifa is real. It is just a made-up thing, but I have seen them. They are real, they are dangerous, and they are violent.
They are an organized, systemic, international criminal enterprise. And what the FBI is going to do is trace the money, follow the funds, and find every single person that was involved in funding the riots and the violent acts of criminality that they are perpetrating on our street.
I've watched Antifa brutally beat, harass, and threaten Americans in the street, but all of that ends with the Trump administration.
I was brutally attacked and almost killed by Antifa in the streets of Seattle. All of my colleagues have been attacked. I can't think of a single one who hasn't. Violence against journalists and police officers in our streets can't stand.
That's Cam Higbee. And I'm going to show you in a moment something that I missed from Cam. Actually, I think I'll show it to you now, what he mentioned to President Trump. Actually, he was talking to the mainstream media in front of President Trump. And he made this statement, and I tell you what, the mainstream media is probably just wanting to crawl out of there.
Please, Cam.
Yeah, I've just got something very short. I'm attacked every time I do my job. When I leave my house to go to work, I am violently assaulted. I've had guns pulled on me. I've been bear sprayed. I've been beaten down. I've been almost killed. So my question for all of you is, how would you feel if every time you showed up to work, masked militants tried to kill you? Because that's how we feel. That's our lived reality. And you guys go and tell us that we're liars, the riots aren't that bad, right? I've never seen any of you guys on the ground. In fact, I've never seen anybody representing the companies you work for on the ground. You guys come to us for interviews that never get published. Stop saying we're lying. We're not. We risk our lives every day to do the job that you guys are too afraid to do.
What network would you say is the worst, if I could ask?
Oh man, that's a real tight spot.
Honestly, it's a simple question.
Well, there's a lot of people in this pool, and I would say I'm not talking about Fox. I'm not talking about Newsmax or any outlet that resembles them. So I'll let you guys put the pieces together on who I'm exactly talking about.
Say, which network?
MSNBC for sure.
Oh, they're terrible. I agree. That's
CNN, probably close. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rate it that way. Yeah, MSNBC. That's Brian Roberts.
Yeah.
That he allows that to happen is a disgrace.
Absolutely.
And CNN is second.
Yeah.
I would say CNN is not quite as bad as MS.
MSNBC is not really a news site anymore.
Oh, MSNBC is sick.
Yeah.
They're sick.
Well, sir, it's
who
also
else?
just the stories that they publish about what's the...
Pretty interesting, huh? It's able to finally look at the mainstream media and to their face tell them exactly what they need to hear. But, of course, we know they're paid off agents. And they teach them how to tune that stuff out. Speaking of agents, President Trump said to all the FBI agents who were forced by Christopher Wray to go to the Capitol on the afternoon of January 6th and then risked their careers to blow the whistle about the political bias and abuses they witnessed, I want to thank you for your courage and assure you that you now work for a director, Kash Patel, and an Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who are stamping out political bias from the Bureau and DOJ and making sure agents pursue criminals without regard to their political stripe, just the evidence. Keep up the good work. Boy, that's got to feel good. Bet you the enemy doesn't like seeing that. Oh, I wonder who they are. What agents have been telling on us. And how's that going to work out for them when it's all comes out in the dryer and they're done. Speaking of being done, imagine sitting there in Chicago, right? And you think that you can come in as an illegal, support the illegals, and sit on panels to make decisions for Chicago, thinking that the people are never going to wake up. Listen to this.
You need to give me my minute back because I didn't start speaking. But I understand, Alderman Rodriguez, because you want me off this mic. You want me off the mic. Desmond Yancey wants me off this mic. That alderman, the one that was calling, want me off the mic. There he is, right there. No, don't shake your head, because what's pitiful is you being able to be an alderman after you did such a thing. And then you got the audacity to be talking about some immigrant rights and looking down when somebody's addressing you. That's the reason why you all's plight don't have no power to it. You out there, you, Rodriguez, Vasquez, Jesse Fuentes, and when you get dummies like Desmond Yancey and Brandon Johnson out there pushing you all along, looking like a bunch of rebels without a cause, because your protests ain't even real, because you're not citizens. You don't have no right to jobs, to free resources, coming over here fighting our government when you won't even fight your own. That's right. That's right. Coming over here burning our flags when you won't go pledge allegiance to your own on your own soil. So yeah, keep looking down, keep shaking your head, because what's pitiful is that people thought that they should vote you into office. But that's all right, because we've been told y'all we coming for them seats. We coming for them seats. Yancey, you think you gonna keep on jumping up South Shore? Only thing we got to show for it over there with you, Greg Mitchell, and Michelle Harris is a bunch of illegals that y'all done dumped into our apartments over there. You won't stand up to fight for us at all. You're passing a phony CBA bill talking about those people can come back that got displaced in 2016. They don't come back to where? Well, you wouldn't even help me take care of what's happening right now. You are such a liar.
Get them. Absolutely brilliant. And it's going to get even worse for them in the future. You know, the Senate Democrats blocked a clean spending bill to reopen the government for the 7th time, in case you guys didn't know. 7 times now. They don't care about our military. All they care about is the illegals and getting their $1 trillion so they can continue to fund them, so they can continue to have their voters here, because they know their days are numbered.
One of the things that we talked about before all the media came in, and that all of us are going to work on for the rest of the day, we've been working on for days, is how to make this shutdown as painless as possible on the American people. So while Chuck Schumer brags about this being good, and I think the president is right, it's not good for him politically as much as he might think that it is, it's causing real consequences for the American people. There's a low-income food program, the WIC program, that my mom actually used when I was a baby. That program is about to be underfunded and is about to get cut off because Chuck Schumer won't open the government. We have troops. The Secretary of War mentioned how well we're doing on recruitment. We're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer is shutting down the U.S. government. There are veterans benefits that are going to suffer. There are Americans that are going to suffer because Chuck Schumer refuses to do his job. So while we're all celebrating this incredible success that we've had on the world stage, the country could be doing so much better if Chuck Schumer did his job and opened the government.
Chuck Schumer. Let's see. Something came up with him in case you guys missed it.
We'll see if Democrats choose to pay America's troops or if they once again bow to the demands of their far-left base, which is telling them to hold out, or to their strategists who tell them that they're, quote, winning the shutdown. Well, based on the reporting this morning, Democrats couldn't care less whether military families miss a paycheck tomorrow. In an interview posted this morning, the Democrat leader said, "Every day gets better for us." Every day gets better for us. Mr. President, this isn't a political game. Democrats might feel that way, but I don't know of anybody else that does.
You know, Thune, we were kind of getting on to him about getting these folks confirmed for President Trump. Well, it looks like the U.S. Senate confirmed Trump's nominee, Jennifer Lee Mascott, to be United States Circuit Judge for the Third Circuit, 50-47 the votes. Activist judges are being canceled out. The nominee backlog is finally being cleared, just in case you guys are wondering what's going on in that area. So as we move forward with these elections, President Trump put these out with his picture. Remember, they're not coming after you. They're coming after me, right? They're actually, I'm just in the way. They're coming after you. I'm just in the way. I believe that was the quote. I don't have it in front of me. I apologize. Anyway, many of you can quote it. Arizona has, since September 2025, enrolled what? Republicans plus 2,000. Since 2024 election, have had a plus 36,671 Republicans. So he's showing you each state, Pennsylvania, Florida, Iowa, North Carolina, New Mexico, how many numbers of Republicans that they have now. New Jersey. New Jersey's plus 50,000, folks. California, you ready? California, plus 173,821. California. Boy, you'd never think with all the elections that they have that they would actually have that many Republicans. I'm going to show you more on that in a moment with California and what they're going through. But did you guys know Dominion? Remember the machines that helped rig the votes in 2020 so that President Trump wouldn't get in? Think they're trying to escape justice? Well, Dominion rebrands as Liberty Vote under Republican leadership to Restore Election Trust is what they're called. Acquired by Republican Scott Lanedecker, a former St. Louis elections director and founder of No Inc., a major electronic poll book provider, who is now the sole private owner, sale price undisclosed. It is also reported the remaining litigation with Mike Lindell, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell will be dropped by Dominion Voting Systems as part of the acquisition agreement. Wow. Kind of interesting how this all plays out. So then after, you have elections coming up, we hopefully will see some major changes. Look what happened in Virginia with Winsome going against Abigail Spanberger, who thinks it's okay to have men walk into women's bathrooms and more.
So we know that biological men are larger in strength than women. We understand this. This is biology. If you look at football teams, you can see the difference between males and females. This is not hard. And that's why I'm asking my opponent, if your little girl comes home and said she was forced to undress in a locker room with a biological boy, what would you say? She's crying. What would you say? Are you not going to answer?
Ms. For those that are not looking at their screen, this Abigail Spanberger is looking straight ahead and won't even look at Winsome with this as it's brought up. She's just ignoring her. She probably thinks, well, I'm just a shoo-in. I don't need to answer you because, all these elections are rigged anyway. So I don't have to pay attention to you. Another person doesn't think that she has to pay attention to anybody would probably be in California. This crazy Katie Porter. I don't know if you guys heard about her at all, but supposedly she's going to be the one that takes over for Newsome, huh?
For governor because I'm a leader. Lose. Get out of my shot. Because I'm a leader. Bernard, I need you to turn these off. These that are killing me. Yes, we should have. Yes. Okay, everybody, I'm not that dark. I'm running for governor because I'm a leader.
This allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender identity.
I'm a leader.
In case you guys missed that, she believed, I don't believe that there's anything wrong with these guys that are attracted to younger children. They're just, they have their identity. They're minor attracted persons. They can do whatever they want. She claims to be a leader.
So on election night, I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's going to win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion? This is from a 12-year-old.
She scalded her ex-husband's scalp with potatoes, documents say. We were told by Marie, thank you for sending this, Trump forever. Every podcaster needs to call this out and often. And as usual, Gavin is rigging the prop number 50. So she checked no box and put it in the envelope and got this. What does that mean? Well, if you check no to prop 50 and you put it in the envelope, it'll actually show up because they have a little hole there to show if it's no or not. So they're going to see it and they could just take that envelope and say, oh, there's a no, and they could throw it in the trash. And her recommendation for California, we need to tell everyone to vote in person in California, vote early, vote in person. Pretty sick, huh? Pretty sick. I'm going to read this to you here. I'm turning 41, says Pavel Durov, but I don't feel like celebrating. Our generation's running out of time to save the free internet built for us by our fathers. What was once the promise of the free exchange of information is being turned into the ultimate total tool of control. Once free countries are introducing dystopian measures such as digital IDs, UK, online age checks, Australia, and mass scanning of private messages, EU. Germany is persecuting anyone who dares to criticize officials on the internet. The UK is imprisoning thousands for their tweets. France is criminally investigating tech leaders who defend freedom and privacy. A dark, dystopian world is approaching fast. While we're asleep, our generation risks going down in history as the last one that had freedoms and allowed them to be taken away. We've been fed a lie. We've been made to believe that the greatest fight of our generation is to destroy everything our forefathers left us. Tradition, privacy, sovereignty, the free market, and free speech. By betraying the legacy of our ancestors, we've set ourselves on a path towards self-destruction. Moral, intellectual, economic, and ultimately biological. So no, I'm not going in to celebrate today, my 41st birthday. I'm running out of time. We are running out of time. And that reminds me of this interview that we're going to release this weekend with the CEO of Rumble. Okay? And Chris did a phenomenal job. He took the time out of his busy schedule to get with us. I'm going to play a clip from this, but I want to remind you as I play this clip, we have been working hard behind the scenes, our team, to get with Rumble to work with them on these ads that are popping up. We get the messages, we talk to them, we're having meetings with them, and they said, we're going to give the And We Know listeners 50% off on Rumble Premium. So if you go there, you can actually click on the link below, rumble.com/premium/LT. And you will get 50% off on the annual fee for premium. They're doing that for us.
I would even say that YouTube has ads more frequently than Rumble, and more ads. You can have like 3-4 ad insertions every 5-6 minutes on YouTube. On
You're listening to Chris from Rumble. This is my interview with him.
Rumble, it's more like every 7 to 9 minutes. I think it's 8 to be exact, but I can't recall exactly. And it's a maximum of 2. Obviously, you know, a lot of people don't like ads. It's something that people don't like, but it is like so important for the survival of a business to monetize. And something like Rumble is at a huge disadvantage to companies like YouTube. We don't get brand ads like YouTube does. Like all the corporate companies, like pretty much, I guess you could say they actually boycott us. We saw that with the GARM lawsuit that we filed. They're out there making sure that anybody on the right doesn't have a viable revenue stream in order to produce content. That's what they've been doing for the last 5 years. They've been trying to choke us to make sure that there's no economy running on the right in order for people like yourself or, you know, companies like Rumble to survive by providing a platform or providing content to the users. They want to make sure they want the left, they want CNN to have a huge revenue stream of money so that they can continue to produce content. And that's kind of like that's the engine that makes everything run, is making sure there's an economy that supports the content that's being actually delivered to our viewers. And ads is obviously one way to do it. Premium is another way that we're doing it. We didn't have ads in the first couple of years, and that was because we were so focused on that infrastructure build. We couldn't make the tools, but then we started losing users because they were going to other platforms because they couldn't monetize. And then it was very important that obviously, you know, as a company, we start monetizing, we start generating revenue, and as importantly, a lot of creators demand that, and they require revenue in order to be Rumble.
So amazing what they've done, allowing free speech and more, allowing us to be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Rumble. I don't believe. I mean, we got kicked off of YouTube, and then they expect us to come back. And while I might be loading videos there, I'm not going to tell everybody where it's at because I want Rumble, Chris, and their team to get the credit for what they've done. So when you click on that link, rumble.com/premium/LT, you're going to see this screen that you're looking at on right there, and you guys will be able to support Chris, support their efforts, and thank them in a way for what they've done, their hard work and their efforts to keep free speech for all of us on Rumble. Just want to make sure I get that across, all right?
In medical school, and she is saying F Trump and gobbling Tylenol with her baby in her placenta. And the level of Trump derangement syndrome has now left the political landscapes, and it is now in the realm of pathology. And a mother could overwhelm millions of years of maternal instinct to put her baby at risk. And all you have to do is look at the studies which you and I talked about. It's not dispositive that cause autism. It is so suggestive that anybody who takes this stuff during pregnancy, unless they have to, is irresponsible. There are 15 rodent studies. Every one of them shows if you give it to the mother, the babies, and particularly the male babies, have profound neurological and behavioral changes. There is a study from Johns Hopkins on cord blood where they divided women into 3 categories: those who had the least acetaminophen in their cord blood, and those who had the most. The ones with the most had 3.6 times the rate of autism in their children. The middle category had 2.2 times, so it's a dose-related response. And there are dozens of studies that show the countries that use the most at the highest level of autism. Cuba has the lowest level in the world of acetaminophen use, and it has the lowest autism rate in the world. So
RFK Jr. pleading with expectant mothers not to take Tylenol due to the lack of the risk of autism for their baby. With all this, President Trump still put this out. I'm going to explain it in a second.
The Pennsylvania Dutch, you were talking about the Amish, where they don't take any of this stuff, and they have virtually none, right? They have no autism. So we're doing something very bad. Somebody's been given given some bad things. Other countries, by the way, we have, I think, we have 82 vaccines that we give simultaneously. And I'm a vaccine believer, by the way. I believe in the polio vaccine. I believe in a lot of vaccines. But when you give 82 vaccines and a shot to a little baby that hasn't even formed yet, it's a lot of vaccines. And in Japan, they give a much smaller number. In Germany, they give a much smaller, like 28 vaccines. That's a lot, too.
So at least he's talking about the number that they pump into our babies. I get it. And he says, I'm a believer in the polio vaccine and many others. He didn't get into the details. He doesn't have time to give a dissertation on it all. My theory behind saying I believe in a lot of the vaccines, and he's doing that, is imagine the millions and millions of voters who take this so serious that they'll say, you know what? He's saying that none of the vaccines are good, therefore I'm not going to vote for him, and I'm going to pick somebody else to put in the office, maybe if he runs for a third term or when the next guy steps in. I don't know. That's my theory. You guys tell me what you think below this video. Give me your input on that. So speaking of other things going on around this earth, did you guys see that the Scottish government opposed the Labour's digital ID plans? That's right.
Jedes Mal, wenn eine Website uns auffordert.
But still, we've got this unelected WEF globalist witch, Ursula von der Leyen, promises a secure EU digital ID you can use to do everything from paying taxes to renting bicycles. What's she really saying? She's saying your physical identity is obsolete. We are centralizing your life into a single state-managed digital profile. You will need our permission to participate in society. Convenience is the Trojan horse for control. This has nothing to do with security and everything to do with compliance. You will own nothing and be tracked in everything. Oh, yeah. This cage is being built, and they're asking you to lock the door yourself. Day after day, we're being reminded that these characters and what they plan on doing to humanity. You know, I thought I had a post, yes, from the Irish government right here. Let me turn this up just right here. The Irish government has informed the EU.
Is it your intention to reintroduce the hate speech legislation that was a dramatic failure in the last government and proposed by the previous Minister for Justice?
The answer is no, but can I just give you an overview as to why the answer is no? I'm fairly satisfied that Ireland has transposed the European Council framework decision on combating certain forms and expressions of racism and xenophobia in a manner appropriate and tailored to the domestic system of law in Ireland. I want to assure members of the House that Ireland's position has been communicated to the European Commission, and our position is that the framework decision is fully transposed in Irish legislation in a manner that is appropriate and tailored to Ireland's domestic system of criminal law and procedure, and is in line, of course, with Article 40.6 of the Constitution, which expressly respects and protects the rights to freedom of expression and people to express their views.
The Irish government informed the EU they will not comply with the demand to force hate speech laws on the public. Big significant deal for free speech. We got Scotland. Scottish government opposing Labour's digital ID plans. I don't know. I think we're just about there to a William Wallace event again. Yeah, we'll see. You know, silver actually reached an all-time high of $50. You guys know that. It went up to 51, I believe, and then it came back down a little bit, but still it broke records and it's staying above that record. And pretty excited because we got a video coming out tomorrow. Just did an interview with Dr. Kirk Elliott. Silver soaring. It's looking like the 70s again. Vanishing calm, coming change. It is absolutely brilliant. You guys do not want to miss this video for tomorrow. It is absolutely phenomenal. And if you don't have time to wait and you're like, man, I got to jump on board because silver is going to skyrocket and gold too, you can go to amweknow.com/gold, reach out to Dr. Kirk Elliott, and you will be taken care of for sure. Speaking of taking care of things, this is Dan Scavino's Post. You hear that? Nessun Dorma. I told you I was going to talk about this later on. He posted this video. 47 seconds long. One of the things I just noticed about this video, I believe that's the flag in the background that he's about to walk into. You can see the excitement of the people as they hear Nessun Dorma play. And it looks like he's going to that flag. Do you guys remember where the stars in the background are blotted out? Remember that? Just notice that. I'll have to go back and re-watch this and give you the information on that, as we did a full video on that whole comms piece there. Ultra Magadine Erickson caught it and said this 47-second video of Pavarotti singing the last chorus of Nessun Dorma, Vanish, O Night, set stars, at dawn I will win, I will win, I will win. Has a timestamp. It was posted at 10:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 22:14 military time. The important data point, Nessun Dorma, is typically used in the final act and was used in the movie The Sum of All Fears and the Payback scene as all the traitors were hunted down and taken out. Just think about that as you read the following post, Q47, the 47-second video, remember? You can paint the picture based solely on the questions asked. Be vigilant today and expect a major false flag. Does anyone find it to be a coincidence? There's always a terrorist attack when bad news breaks for the Democrats. What is that called? Military is relevant. How? BO could not and would not allow the military to destroy ISIS. Why? Why wouldn't Obama destroy ISIS? How was ISIS formed? Oh, yeah. I remember, by them. When? How was President of the United States made, how did he make such progress in the short time that he's been president? President Trump. Alice in Wonderland. You got the Q2214, the timestamp, right? Military time, Castle Lock. Another interesting data point. President Trump will be making an announcement from the Oval Office tomorrow night. That's tonight at 5 p.m. 1700 military time, 17 is 1700, 17 Q time. I believe by using Nessun Dorma, Dan is trying to tell us we are in the final act and President Trump will win. The hunters have become the hunted. The hunt is on and payback is coming for all these traitors. With that, his timestamps say it all. Be vigilant today and expect a major false flag. It's not a coincidence. There's always a terrorist attack when bad news breaks. Castle Lock. White House is the castle. Will be locked down and secure. President Trump will be speaking from the Oval Office at 1700 military time. This is just a theory. He might leave this after that announcement in the Oval Office because he has and said he may be heading to Gaza to sign the peace deal Saturday or Sunday, in which he will be safe aboard Air Force One. After all, 1700 is Q time. I saw this too. I'm going to bring it over from True Stormy Joe. He catches these things all the time. Great job. Nick Sorter, remember President Trump scheduled to make the announcement today at 5 p.m. What are we told on the cue board? Before POTUS departs on Friday, he will be sending an important message via Twitter. God bless. Do you guys know that there's a proposal for a triumphal arch in D.C. for America's 250? In the traffic circle in front of Arlington National Cemetery, America needs a triumphal arch. This is from Nicholas Leo Charbonneau. You could see that on the desk at the White House, the plans that they're trying to put together. Very interesting on that front. Also, if you notice, people are posting, this guy from Arizona noticed since last Thursday that the skies are completely blue above and not noticing any chemtrails at all. Same in Minnesota, people are posting, but others said, nope, southeastern Washington state, they're spraying still. And then another person said in Florida yesterday, 8 a.m., they're still spraying there and many others. So it's not throughout the United States. People are replying, but we're noticing more people are posting. I'm even noticing where I'm located that there's not been any chemtrails for several weeks. Very interesting take of events there for us all. And so just a reminder, folks, we've got a lot going on, many things behind the scenes. All of us are praying day in and day out for these children who have been in harm's way for so long, all around the earth, not just in Gaza, but everywhere. They just want to play outside. They just want to smile again. They want to have fun. They've been through so much. Our own children have been watching me at work, watching you at work, right? Our grandchildren are watching us, and I hope to have grandchildren someday. I look forward to that. And I'm looking forward to my sons getting married someday and getting a girlfriend. I'm looking forward to, just an increased growth in our family. But in the meantime, we've got so much going on. So many that are hoping for this peace deal to go through and that it remains in place. And regardless of what you hear on all types of other podcasts and all of the doom and gloom, there's even people out there that are big podcaster names. I'm not going to say the name. Just one of them out there is just can't handle anything positive. Anything. What if something happens after they turn in all of the hostages, and then they're gonna turn on them and they're gonna blow everything up? It's like, can you just pause for a moment? This particular person, he or she has got like 2 or 3 million followers on social media, X or whatever. And I'm like, why can't you just let it go for one day and just soak it in and say, you know what? We're excited for finally to see something like this play out. If anything, for the children, let them take a breather and have a breath of fresh air for a day. Let all of us take a deep breath and say, you know what? We're going to stay in prayer. We still have an enemy that we have to fight. Yes. Spiritual warfare. Yes, you betcha. But all in all, we've got a lot to be thankful for, don't we?
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, again, we come before you in just a war-torn zone around us, realizing that you are doing battle with the enemy and you always win. And you allow us to see and go through these things to increase our faith. And we definitely request that you would increase our faith even now in you, not in man, not in Trump, not in people that are leaders, but trust in you, and that you have everything under control, and that you can guide and direct nations the way you see fit. You said that in our prayer, right, that we ask that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We just ask that you would give us time, in a sense, to take a breather, even this weekend, as we pray and we look forward to things on this earth that could play out where the enemy is destroyed. And just like we see in biblical times, there was a time of rest that was brought to nations after so much evil was destroyed. We certainly hope that that would be the case. We know we have much work to do. Please give us the strength to move forward. Help us to talk with our neighbors, our friends, and others about you, about your Son, how he willingly gave his life on the cross, came back after 3 days, and we simply look to him and live. We bring this before you, the protection of our president flying out this weekend and other leaders. We bring this before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen and amen. Folks, thank you so much if you stuck in with this video through the entirety of it all. We thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. It's been an amazing journey so far. We've been through an awful lot together, haven't we? We'd love to see you on the cruise if you think about it. Go to that andweknow.com site, folks, and sign up if you would. And we'd love to see you, visit with you, have a meet and greet time. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be hundreds of people there. And that definitely is a good breather for all of you. All right. So have a great weekend. This is LT, Semper Fi with And We Know, signing out.
so